Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Weekly Profit Talk. We do this every single week, hence the weekly part of the name, at 8:30 Mountain Time, and that is 7:30 if you're on the West Coast, 10:30 on the East Coast. So, subject of this week's Weekly Profit Talk is the defining difference between profit and cash. Um, this is one of those dichotomy things where it's not really kind of a black and white mother father yin yang sort of relationship. Profit and cash serve two very different purposes in measuring the metrics of our businesses. Um, let's go ahead and I'm going to pop this up real quick. So, profit is basically what's known as the bottom line. And it's, as this says, it's simply the mathematical difference between all the money that you bring in minus all the money that you have to spend to make the money come in. When you subtract all of your expenses, all of your costs of goods sold, if you have inventory, which is rare in medical practices, but I suppose possible, as well as the cost of staffing and all of your other selling administrative expenses, you subtract that from the money that you're bringing in, and the remainder is what's known as net income or profit. And that is basically the kind of the holy grail, as it were. A higher profit margin equals a more successful business. Additionally, a profit is also worthy of consideration at any time throughout the year because it's basically what you're going to pay income tax on. Now, there are other considerations in a business depending on your business structure, certainly. But at the very end of the day, your net income is basically where income tax calculation begins. And so it's important to understand exactly what goes into profit. But at the same time, as this says, you may not be able to take a look at your profit and loss statement and understand that whether or not you have enough money to pay all your obligations. There are other things, moving parts in your business that do not necessarily belong on the profit and loss statement. Again, we've talked about expenses and as well as revenues. But these are a small part of a much larger accounting picture. So let's take a look at our counterpart here, cash. Now, we've talked about this before, and I actually had a talk about this, I think about a month and a half, couple months ago. I like to think of cash as basically the oxygen of the business. It's the fuel that keeps the fires burning. You basically need cash to be able to pay the things that you need to pay. But it's also important to keep in mind that not all of your payments that you make are either to staff or to expenses. There are many other considerations. Simple example is you have possibly large assets in your office or place of business, diagnostic equipment and the like, and that is an outlay of money that actually reduces cash, but it increases the asset account, as it were, in your chart of accounts in your accounting cycle. And that does not touch your profit and loss statement at all, if you think about it. Another thing is when you are creating net income for your business, one of the questions I always get is, when can I actually have some of the money I'm making? This is something that is known as either an owner's draw if you're a sole proprietor or a partnership. Well, in fact, partnerships as well as the flow through corporations and other business entities refer to this as a distribution. Okay, now distributions are basically a cash flow out, but again, this does not touch the profit and loss statement. So cash has to be measured in a much different way, and that's why there is a separate financial report for cash. It's called the statement of cash flows. One of the things It's important to consider too, as the profit and loss statement and statement of cash flows, as well as their very important counterpart, the balance sheet, which basically shows your assets, liabilities, and equity. These three things are basically all a history lesson. They're basically showing us how your business has done in a previous period. But the measurement of both profit and cash, it's important to keep in mind that it is possible with all the great technology we have and modern thinking and advisory services that it is in fact quite possible to be able to predict with some degree of accuracy what will happen in the future, as well as monitoring what has happened for you in the recent past. And knowing the difference between profit and cash and how to forecast for them is extremely critical. But hopefully this is helpful. Profit, again, is the bottom line, revenues minus expenses, basically. But cash is affected by the purchase of assets, the paying down of debts. Of course, sometimes you purchase an asset, you have to do a long-term loan on them. So that is also another consideration, as well as distributions or draws from the capital account of the company to pay the owners of the company a little bit of extra money. It's because it's quite possible that, and especially in the case of an S corporation where you are in fact tax advantaged, your wages are basically set at a reasonable compensation level, but that you are entitled to the money that you make and pay tax on, certainly. So distributions are also going to be a high consideration. That also needs to be monitored depending on the type of entity that you have. If you have a level of distributions that is above the amount of money that you have made on the profit side, that is actually a very difficult position to be in, because you may, in fact, find yourself subject to an additional capital gains tax. Okay. So monitoring cash as well as profit, they each have their own definitions. And I am hopeful that I've been able to help clear that up a little bit more. And if you did find this helpful, let us know. Also, if you have any questions about anything at all, or if you'd like to talk more about how we do work with people to basically micro forecast their future and work with you one-on-one to ensure the growth and the scaling of your business as well as its ongoing health, then reach out and let us know. We are coming to you live, excuse me, sorry, on 3 different media, YouTube and Facebook, as well as LinkedIn. And you can basically pop a comment into whatever social media you happen to be viewing this on, and we'll get back to you. So until next week, remember that profit and cash have 2 different definitions, 2 entirely different functions in the metrics of your business. And when balanced together, basically leads to a more healthy business, excuse me. So with that, we hope you have an incredible rest of the day, an awesome weekend. And if you have a chance, do something randomly kind for a stranger. So until next time, we will see you soon, and so long for now.